Hey, MRHE families, this is Dr. Thompson here. I just wanted to explain a little bit more of our details here for you. If you had the opportunity to watch the board meeting on last couple Thursday nights ago or on Monday with the decision, you've got many of these details already, but I just wanted to continue to elaborate on what Tier 1 is going to look like here starting on April 26th. This is a presentation that I modified from the board report and then also modified for our students as well. So they're hearing the same thing. And I will, like I said, just kind of target you as families for what we're needing in our move to Tier 1. Following this presentation on Tuesday, April 13th at both 12:30 and 6:30, again, Tuesday, April 13th at 12:30 p.m. or at 6:30 p.m., you will get a link for kind of Q&A if there are any further questions that you have. Any wonderings that remain for you, we will be available to answer those questions. And as always, if you have any feedback, have any wonderings, shoot me an email, give me a call. I'm happy to partner with you. I want you to feel informed. I want you to feel safe and secure and confident in what we're doing for our students in our community here. So as we've been saying, a shift to Tier 1 will begin on April 26th, Monday, April 26th. And starting that day, all students will attend the full week, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and we'll return to our full day schedule. This is pre-COVID years. Our daily schedule has been 7:30 a.m. to 2:40 p.m. So that will be probably the biggest change for our students in having that full day of instruction. I'll talk a little bit here in a minute about what we're going to do to support that stamina that it's going to take for that transition. But we know that that's going to be for many of you, a relief in that midday pickup or drop off. With this transition, I hope you've been hearing everything that we're doing to follow the guidance from the CDC. Nothing that we are transitioning to goes against what the CDC is recommending. We are going to promise to keep those safety measures in place. What has been keeping us safe and healthy here to this point in Tier 2 will remain in place. And that looks like these different layers of protection. All masks, all day, every day, all students, all staff are going to maintain those masks, obviously with the exception of meals, which I'll talk to in a minute. That's also biggest change, for on campus. We're going to continue with our hand hygiene practices. Every classroom has an automatic hand sanitizer. We've got pump stations everywhere throughout the building as well. And then we'll continue to use our water bottle filler stations as well so that students have access to water in the classroom without having that kind of dropping down and getting to the water fountain. So we will maintain that practice. We will continue to keep practicing and modeling respiratory etiquette, lots of hand washing practices. We will maintain our social distancing in terms of spacing between our desks. Again, with the guidance changing from the CDC, in Tier 2, we were following that 6-foot guidance, which is why we had half of our students here at a time. With the guidance changing to 3 to 6 feet, we're going to be able to exceed that expectation of the minimum of 3 feet in all of our spaces. So again, our spacing will be maintained. We're still going to keep our footprints and our arrows in the hallways to give that visual reminder of keeping our distance. And then our plexiglass will remain in the spaces as well. Our custodial team has just been fantastic, and we will maintain our cleaning process every night, obviously, but we've been doing with the shift between the A group and the B group. There's been a cleaning process in every learning space between those two sessions. That's actually going to continue, that midday clean, so that we can get the space wiped down. Whether or not we're eating lunch in the classroom, we will get that space wiped down between just to have a nice, fresh readiness for the afternoon. And then with our health screenings, that's something that our staff will continue to do on a daily basis. And then we ask you to continue to do that as well. You've been doing so much to help us when your child has the sniffles or a tummy ache or a headache, really being thoughtful and careful and being proactive in that. And we appreciate that. So that is something that we'll continue to do as well, is maintain that health screening. Here's just a little visual for you, a little glimpse of what our learning spaces will look like. So we will use these trapezoid-shaped tables. And our plexiglass is T-shaped, as you notice. And these are two of my awesome teammates who modeled for me. So students will have 45 inches approximately from nose to nose in that space in the way that we're arranging there. So certainly exceeding that 3-foot expectation. And then we will be able to increase that distance from table to table. So we will be further apart from table to table throughout the space. Can really stretch out our spaces as much as possible to ensure that reduced transmission risk. So some of those daily routines that are going to be back in place. One of the biggest changes is that our students will now have specials in person on campus. Once again, that's something that we're all looking forward to. Our specials teachers are absolutely thrilled to get to have the students back in person and not on Zoom. And those will take place in the homeroom, in the gym, or outside as appropriate. They'll continue to follow their schedule if they have art on Monday, music on Tuesday, and so on. That's what we'll follow as we've been doing all school year. We will continue safe practices around the shared supplies. If there's a kickball, if there's markers that are going to be used from one class to the next, we'll make sure that they get wiped down in between. And as I said, those specials teachers will travel throughout the building. Our students will not necessarily go to them unless it's PE. Also in-person daily, just thinking through what Tier 2 is right now. Right now, our students have different touch points with math and reading and writing and social studies and science. Because with our shortened day, with our 3 hours right now, we cannot fit all 5 contents in person each day. So what's going to come back is that daily contact, that daily instruction with all of our content, daily recess, which we're excited about. We've been doing movement breaks that the students have really benefited from, and we will continue. We'll bring recess back. And those are going to be cohorted still. So our students, I don't know if they've come home and talked about this, but they're only with their homeroom class for recess. And that's going to continue for both lunch and recess in Tier 1. And then daily in-person interventions as well. Some of our students have still been accessing reading or any SSD services or E4 services that have been happening through Zoom just because of the tight crunch in our schedule. And so all interventions, all supports will happen in person at this point. We will continue reducing our efforts to reduce congestion by staggering both our arrival and our dismissal. And I would just ask that 3rd and 5th graders continue to arrive at 7:15 and 4th and 6th graders continue to arrive at 7:25. And so for those of you families who have somebody in 3rd grade and 6th grade or 5th and 4th, however that works for your family, we just ask that if it doesn't work for you, that's fine. Just if it does, help us out is all I'm asking so that we can keep that spacing at arrival. And with dismissal, same thing as we've been doing. We will release our walkers and bus riders first, get them where they need to be to really reduce that hallway congestion. And then we will begin our car rider dismissal at 2:40. And that will follow the same process that we've been following, where folks are coming up Glades Circle Drive. We'll type in the names and then we'll send students out in groups to get them to you. So that's been a pretty efficient process. I do anticipate, obviously with all students there, I do anticipate that to be a little bit longer process than it has been, but I feel like it's a good and efficient process and we will continue to work on improving that. Our bus routes will be recalibrated and sent out from the district. That information, like I said, will be coming likely next week or early that last week before we return to campus about those times and about those bus routes. As we're bringing both groups of students together, we will need to recalibrate just a bit. And then for those families who previously enrolled in the 2021 school year Discover Club, if you were already enrolled, you will receive an invitation to attend the afternoon only. We will not be having AM morning Discover Club. We will only do the after school Discover Club. And again, that will be sent out to those families who were previously enrolled. So again, with a big change is meals on campus. We will maintain our sending breakfast home with students. So they'll have an opportunity each day to sign up for their meals. And at the end of each day, we will send those students who signed up with a breakfast for the next day. And they'll be able to take those home. We encourage you to support them having that in the morning before they arrive to campus. There will not be time or a space for breakfast to be eaten on campus. Lunch on campus, however, again, I want to talk about cohorts. Cohort means if my teacher is Mr. Dodson, or if my teacher is Mrs. Jaber, or Ms. Brown, or Ms. Howard, I am only with that teacher. Okay, that's cohort. And so we're not going to co-mingle with, say, the switching partner teacher. We are only going to be with our cohorted class. We are going to prioritize outdoor lunch. If your student will not be comfortable sitting on the concrete or finding a spot on a playground space, then I encourage you to bring a towel or send a towel with them that they will bring back and forth in their backpack. So if that's something that you're wanting to send them, go ahead. And otherwise, they'll be sitting, where we can find the space outside, where we can find a good and clean space outside. So prioritizing outdoor meals, again, as weather is appropriate. Recess will be first, and then we'll bring meals out to students, or they'll have their lunch kits with them, their lunch boxes with them as they go out for recess. They'll set it down, and then they'll have lunch for the second 20 minutes of that middle day block. Students can bring their own lunch. We just ask that you have a nut-free options. We do have students with allergies, and we don't need to make lunch and this pandemic learning even more complex with those allergy interactions. So please nut-free if your child brings their own lunch to school. Following lunch, there will be a set restroom break, and certainly our staff are going to work to continue to support students as they have restroom needs, but that'll help us with that congestion in the building as well at those shared common spaces. So on a bad weather day, it is going to be spring after all. If we have any bad weather days, we will have to eat and have recess inside. So in that situation, if we have to have recess and lunch inside, as you can see in this picture here, we will be able to maintain our 3.5-ish feet from an unmasked person to a masked student. And then because our tables are going to be stretched out even more from table to table, we'll still be able to maintain that 6-foot distance from unmasked person to unmasked person, which is part of our CDC guidance. So one student will eat at a time at the shared table. Maybe the left side of the table goes first. They take their mask off. We eat. Not to create digestion issues, but we're going to eat as a task right now. It's not Sunday brunch and taking our time. We're going to get lunch done and get it done quickly so that the next student can have their lunch. So only one at a table at a time will be unmasked for that meal in the event that it is bad weather and we have to have indoor lunch and recess. Learning on campus, we will still have Chromebooks traveling with students each day. In the event that we had a situation where a student needed to stay home or had the sniffles or had potential exposure, they will need to have those Chromebooks available to them. So that Chromebook, we're going to continue with that practice of it coming to school and back home each day. We will maintain our use of It's Learning, and our teachers will continue to put in the on-campus learning activities and resources. So if there's any student who's gone for any reason, they will be able to access what's happening on campus. Any students who are quarantined or who are, again, just kind of waiting out any potential symptoms, they will be able to Zoom into the live instruction and access the learning through that It's Learning platform. We are going to continue to look for as much balance as we can and as much with as many safety procedures as necessary to continue to bring in more hands-on learning, more collaborative learning. We know that our students and our staff, for that matter, want to continue to find that balance of technology and the social interaction that's necessary. So you might hear from students say, yeah, we didn't even touch the Chromebook today, and that's okay with us. There may be some occasional home learning as well. I don't anticipate much more than maybe read for 30 minutes tonight, or hey, finish up this assignment that didn't get finished in class today. But our staff, are going to continue to find balance with that and just know that they will communicate what those expectations are. As I started, we know this is a transition that is landing for people in a variety of ways. We have some families and friends who are very excited and ready to return to full campus. We have some who are also very curious, what's this going to look like? And we have some who have apprehension about it, and knows all of those experiences and feelings are appropriate and acceptable. And we want to be able to support our students throughout that process. So we are working as a staff to build in breaks, because we know that that full day of learning on campus with the whole roster is going to require a different kind of training. And so we will work on what that stamina looks like. Our teachers are so caring and so empathetic and so in tune with what their students need. And they're great advocates for that. And so we will make sure that we build in time to support that return. We are already, again, working on as a staff to build different activities that will bring our entire classroom community back together, kind of reacquainting ourselves to one another, establishing new community norms and expectations for how we support each other, and just getting used to those routines as we double the number of students in the class. And as I said, lots of breaks, plenty of recess, and sunshine here in the spring will be all helpful as we transition. So at this point, I would just ask for you to kind of jot down any questions that you have. Let me know what you need. What are you still wondering about? How can we support you? How can we support your child? If you have a child who's nervous and you'd like us to follow up with, I'm happy to do that. We're happy to do that here. We've got a great team of counselors with Mrs. Boyer, with Mrs. Wiegert as well. We want to support and make this a smooth transition and get everybody back in safe and healthy. Again, we will see you, hopefully, if you have any questions, on Tuesday, April 13th at either 12:30 or 6:30. Stay tuned for what that Zoom link is, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.